Good evening, friends. Today's topic, I think we have not discussed. We have been discussing many topics related to Krishnamurti for the last 4 or 5 years, and very difficult to find a new topic. So today I thought that we have not discussed Krishnamurti and psychology and devotion, and I got this idea when I was reading some articles of Krishnamurti from the commentaries on living, and there are two articles. One article is about devotion and worship, and another is psychoanalysis and human problem. Kamlesh, are you able to hear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. So, uh, about first we take about psychology. Uh, Many people say that Krishnamurti's teachings are similar to kind of a psychological. There is no devotion in Krishnamurti, mostly asking questions, and Krishnamurti asks hundreds of questions, and he wants to go anything you say, he will say, what do you mean by that? And will go into step by step. And by asking many questions, he is taking people to the root of all the problems. And that the root of all psychological problems is thinking and the sense of self or ego, which comes from thinking. So, in Krishnamurti teachings, one has to go right to the root of our thinking. That means it requires a different kind of attention to look clearly from where these problems are arising, just like anger or fear or jealousy. But psychologists, they also ask many questions to their patients, and then they gather all that information, and they are trying to find out what is the cause of this particular patient's problem. And they feel that something probably happened in the past life, that means not the previous life, but in his childhood, something happened and that created the problem. So psychologists are trying to find also the root of the problem, but there is a quite difference between Krishnamurti and psychologists. And one psychologist had come to Krishnaji, and he was a very well-known psychologist, very prosperous, and he had many rich patients, and he was very successful. And then there was one lady he was trying to treat, and this psychoanalysis, it takes a very long time, several months to cure the patient. And the psychologist was not able to cure this lady patient. And somebody told that lady that why don't you attend Krishnamurti's talks? And she went to listen to Krishnamurti talk. And the first talk, she listened to Krishnamurti and she was very confused. She did not understand anything. But then her friend said, don't worry, you keep on attending Krishnamurti's talks. Maybe in the first talk you did not understand, but if you attend some more talks, maybe you will understand. And she attended Krishnamurti's several talks, and while listening to Krishnamurti, she began to feel some kind of freedom. Maybe she was able to look by her own self, looking at the cause. of her problem. And so when after listening to Krishnamurti's talks and she felt kind of free, she went to meet that psychologist, and that psychologist also felt that yes, her all the symptoms, depression, everything was gone. And so that psychologist wondered how this happened that this lady got cured by listening to Krishnamurti. So the psychologist comes to Krishnamurti and he wants to know that um, is there a very short method, very quick method by which we can really go to the root of psychological problems? Because the psychologist method was very, very long and it took many, many months, many sessions, it's very expensive. And in Krishnamurti, something happened very quickly. So Krishnamurti said that there is no shortcut method. Only one has to be open to listen and look within oneself and not depend on anybody. So, a direct looking at oneself, in that sometimes some people feel that yes, one can really look at the beginning of thoughts and feelings. And that is what happened to me also when first time I had no psychological problems. Of course, there are many thoughts and feelings unnecessary. We can call it a problem. But when Krishnamurti said that the source of all our psychological problem is thinking, and from thinking arises this sense of self or me or ego, and then this ego tries to change thought, and there is a duality between thinker and thought, and that duality is the source of all psychological problems. And so when I read that, I became very curious, and I did not listen to Krishnamurti, but just reading a book. And that in that book, what Krishnamurti was saying made me curious to look at my own mind. And I found that whatever Krishnamurti was saying about human problems, and he was saying that all human beings suffer for thousands of years, and your problem is the human problem. Your consciousness is the consciousness of mankind, and what is happening inside you, the same thing is happening in other human beings. And so it really made me curious. And and then in this dialogue between psychologist and Krishnamurti, Krishnamurti asked the psychologist, what are you trying to do with your patients? And the psychologist said that we are trying to make the patient fit into society so that the patient can live without depression and can live uh, fit into society, something like that. And Krishnamurti asked a very important question. And Krishnamurti says, is society fit? You may try to make a patient fit into society, but the society has many, many problems. So psychologists say that changing society is not our function. We don't try to, we are not trying to change society. We are trying to help individual people who have some problem, and if they can live comfortably in the society, then our job is finished. And Krishnamurti felt that that is a very, very narrow approach, and and the psychologist also agreed that a psychologist has to be free of his own problem And psychologist has also to look within himself in the present moment, not collect so much information and then analyze it. That is the approach Krishnamurti doesn't um, agree with. And Krishnamurti says analysis is paralysis. The analyzer is the analyzed. That means the psychologist is not free from the problem he is analyzing. So, Krishnamurti's approach to psychological problem is very, very beautiful, I would say, for people who are not afraid to look at their own mind and then even to look. And but this approach is not easy, Krishnamurti's approach, because when we try to look at our own mind, we need to be free in the beginning, because if we are not free, we will get lost. We will not be able to observe clearly. So that is why Krishnaji says freedom is at the beginning, and that means one must have a tremendous curiosity, attention, energy, curiosity to look at one's own mind. And people who are like that, they can understand Krishnamurti very quickly, and then they may not even need to read Krishnamurti. But people who are not able to look in a direct way at their own mind, they may keep on reading Krishnamurti, gathering many ideas of Krishnamurti teachings. They may become very clear of what Krishnamurti is trying to convey, but they may not have the freedom to be free from anger or fear or jealousy or loneliness or boredom. So I observed that many people who were very close to Krishnamurti and they admire Krishnamurti, they worship Krishnamurti, they they understood Krishnamurti intellectually, but they had depression. Some of them, I knew that they were not able to be quiet, silent, feel real happiness within them. So, in a way, Krishnamurti teachings can be dangerous also for some people, because they can say that yes, Krishnamurti, what he says is true, but he is not giving any method. The only method he is saying is that you have to look at your own mind in a direct way, and that requires a freedom to look, a different state altogether to look at thinking. So, Krishnamurti's approach can help some people and they can understand very quickly. But for many people, they can go on reading Krishnamurti year after year. They will ask the same question to Krishnamurti. And Krishnamurti would say that why are you here, year after year? Why don't you change? So uh, Krishnamurti's approach is I liked very much, but I feel that it may not be suitable for all people, or it may be suitable for very few people. So there is another approach, and that many people like devotion. Devotion means uh, worshipping an image. They worship God, and what they uh, imagine some picture of maybe Shiva or Krishna, and then they focus their mind on that image and they repeat some words, some mantra, and they feel peaceful. So there was one devotee who came to Krishnamurti, and that devotee was quite happy, and he even was singing some song in front of Krishnaji, about the beauty of a river because they were sitting in front of a river. And then the devotee said that he is very happy in this devotion and worshipping God, putting a flower near the image of God, sitting quietly, and he could sit quietly for many hours and he would lose his mind. He felt that there was no me, there was nothing, everything is one. So the devotee was quite happy. But then Krishnamurti asked, what do you mean by God? And Krishnamurti says that you are creating an image of God and you are worshipping that image. So that means you are worshipping your own self, your own imagination. And then for some time, the devotee gets disturbed because he had not thought about this kind of questions Krishnamurti is asking. But then devotee says that I am really happy with what I am doing. I am not interested in learning about anything about humanity, about myself. I just want to be happy. And so um, I feel that the devotee was, for a time being, he got disturbed, but then again he comes back that devotion is good for him. If he follows Krishnamurti, maybe there will be more conflict in his life and he will get lost into understanding Krishnamurti. So, for many people, the devotion is an easy path, but at the same time, this devotion can lead to many illusions, and sometimes a devotee may not know if anger comes or fear comes in his life. He will get carried away. This devotion may not help him. It is a very short time escape from one's own problem. And Krishnamurti talks about not escaping from one's own problem, but confronting or seeing oneself as one is. And that is difficult for many people. So, devotion is good for most people, I would say, but it may not even give complete freedom. But some devotees who can go all the way and they can realize that the devotee and the God, they are not separate. The worshipper is the worship. And there are some extraordinary human beings who were devotees like Ramakrishna and Mirabai. And people said that they were mad, but they were not affected by society, what other people said. And they really went right to the root and they became very creative and many people worship them. Uh, Many intellectuals of Ramakrishna's time, they were listening to Ramakrishna and they felt that this man is real. He's not trying to uh, hypnotize himself. There is something real. Ramakrishna could go into the extraordinary state called samadhi on any day, at any time, and in front of people. And when he go into samadhi and come back, he will come back with the wisdom and he will speak and people will listen spellbound. And many of them were highly intellectuals. So uh, either you go in a devotion way, all the way, like Ramakrishna or Mirabai, and come with a real creativity, happiness, or you go all the way to Krishnamurti's way, where you look at yourself and not be uh, escape from your own self. Both these paths are good, but it will help only very few people who are not afraid to go all the way. So I think I have said enough thing right now. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Harshad sir. Anybody wants to comment on Krishnamurti psychology and devotion,
Devotion.
role of devotion? Yes, Ravi.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Am I audible, sir?
Yes, you are audible.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Actually, Krishnamurti has talked something on surrender also, I think. So my first, thing is that I would like to know what he said on surrender. After that, I will talk.
Mhm.
So if anybody can speak about what Krishnamurti talked on surrender, it will be nice. Thank you.
Mhm.
Today, Dinesh
Okay.
Waghmare is not here,
Dinesh
I think.
Waghmare is attending some meeting, so he is
Okay.
not there. So he may
Okay.
come afterwards or not, I don't know.
Okay. Take care, anyhow.
But what I know from what I have read about surrender,
Yes.
so JK has said that you are surrendering to God, God which you have created yourself in your image.
Mhm.
That may not be actually surrendered to the actual God.
No, I
JK's
think
point of view, what
I think K
I
talked
could collect.
something different on surrender. It's not about surrendering on some image.
M-
Some it's what
Might be.
actually surrender means.
Uh,
I didn't get right now, but he's talked on that thing. If anybody could help, it will be nice.
okay. Let
Let others talk.
YD Murthy sir,
Yes, sir.
he may be knowing something about what exactly JK told.
Uh, good evening, all. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Yes.
Hello. Yeah.
Yeah.
Harshad ji.
Yes, you are audible, sir.
Yeah. I listened to your talk quite seriously, but I have a question directly on the matter of devotion that you are talking about. Uh, Devotion to Shiva or some god created by human thought, as actually is an illusion. As we all know, and what Krishnamurti has said right from the beginning, first of
Mm.
all, the me, the self,
Mm.
the I, me, myself itself is an illusion. And with that illusion, if you try to create a god and devote to that god or pray to that god, that is a bigger illusion. You are going from one illusion to other illusion. Krishnaji never
Yeah.
talked of devotion or going to a god or create god. God he has not defined. God itself is an illusion. He said. So my question is, uh, unless we know ourselves, unless I know myself, who am I? Without knowing that, in the psychological field, we will not be able to go any further. That's why
Mm.
Krishnaji has given so much importance to self knowledge. Self knowledge is nothing but, as you know, the understanding of what is right and what is wrong, what is true and what is false, and getting rid of the false. That is a continuous learning process. Learning process. With that learning process only, we will be able to know who I am, the self knowledge. So that is fundamental to Krishnaji's teaching. And unless we go in that path, I don't think by having devotion, we all heard of Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, Ramana Maharshi, various other uh, saints. I would like to call them saints, but they are in a different category altogether. compared to what Krishnaji is talking and compared to what he is asking us to do in our life. So I beg to differ with you on this aspect because it doesn't make any sense because we are all here to understand what Krishnaji is telling. To
Yeah.
understand that, we have to understand ourselves. We have to use the teaching as a mirror in which I see myself. And he
Yeah.
also said, once you see yourself in the mirror and understand yourself, the mirror has no meaning. You can break the mirror. These are his words. So I feel we cannot deviate from the path of self-understanding and self-knowledge. That's number one. Number two, as you rightly said, the so-called psychologists, psychoanalysts, and psychotherapists, they all talk about other people's mind, but they never looked at their own mind. That also Krishnaji has mentioned number of times. So what they say or what they try to under what they try to point out, it may help some people who are psychologically deeply affected, but that has nothing to do with self-understanding or self-knowledge. That is what I wanted to just mention about surrender. Also, already our friend has said, surrender to what? If you say I surrender to God, surrender to Krishna, Shiva, they are all illusions. They are created by the human mind, human thought. And surrendering to human thought has no meaning. Thought is divisive, thought is limited, and that thought, whatever it creates, it has created beautiful cathedrals. It has created so many uh, uh, prayers and so many rituals and all that, but they all have no meaning at all. That has not made the man free at all. So surrender also will not help much, I feel. And Krishnaji said, you surrender to what is. You understand what is. You are what you are now in your consciousness. If you surrender to that what is, which is ever changing, there is some meaning in that. But if you don't do that and surrender to some God created by thought or some statue sculpted by the human hand, what is created by mind and what is created by hand, it is not sacred at all. That is what Krishnaji has been telling all through, right from the beginning. So, unless we have that self knowledge, I don't think we will be able to move forward in this quest for the truth. That is my point of view. Your comments are welcome, sir.
Yeah. Yes. May I say something?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please.
Yeah. Yeah. See, many people have given many years to Krishnamurti's teachings. And I know there was one professor who came to Rishi Valley and he said, Sir, I have studied your teachings for 30 years, but I have not moved, means I have not changed fundamentally. So what the professor had done, that he had collected all the concepts which come from Krishnamurti's teaching, and he was very clear about those concepts. And he could even give talks on Krishnamurti, but he had not really fundamentally changed his own life. And so Krishnamurti said, you have not moved because you have not stopped, which means stopping to look clearly at one's own mind and not gathering more and more ideas. So that is what happens in Krishnamurti's following. Many people, they feel very proud that they understand Krishnamurti's ideas, and then they also have verbal arguments, and that is trying to show that I know better than you. And maybe you can call these people who are following Krishnamurti, but really not changing. They are kind of a devotee of Krishnamurti, I would say, a follower of Krishnamurti, because they make Krishnamurti as a very, very kind of an authority. And but Krishnamurti says there is no authority in this field. You have to find out for yourself. And if a devotee feels that by giving his mind to some image of Shiva, he feels peace even for many hours, then it is better than filling his mind with politics, economics, and many many which are very stray. The mind we can go into unobserved thinking, and that can tire a person. But when a person creates the image, a devotee, then he is he wants to be really good, happy, like that God which he is creating. So the strength is coming from the mind of the devotee himself. Krishnamurti may call self-hypnosis, but the devotee has to find out what is good for him or her. And if in this process, what is called, and this devotee who met Krishnamurti, he said for many hours he had no sense of self. So that is what real meditation is, when a devotee forgets himself. And that is what a surrender means. It means a loss of sense of me or I or ego. And that can happen to devotee also. So I would say that one can go into devotion fully, or one can go into Krishnamurti fully. Both can help, or both can not help also. So,
May I add a comment, sir?
yeah, yes.
Sir, thank you very much your clarification. But I would like to add one small comment here. No offense. Professor Krishna has told us, and we also know that truth is at the level of perception, and it is not at the level of ideation or knowledge. We are always working in the field of knowledge, and that is our problem. In fact, if I study all the Buddhist scriptures and Buddhist teachings and understand them and talk about them, give nice lectures, I can become a professor of Buddhist philosophy, but I will not become Buddha, because the kind of transformation Lord Buddha had in his consciousness, the professor of Buddhist psychology will not have. So we should know we should get rid of this knowledge. We should go outside the field of knowledge. As long as we are within the field of knowledge, this will continue. Not much will happen. The fundamental revolution that Krishnaji is talking about in the consciousness is not going to happen.
Yeah.
Is it not, sir?
Yes. Yes. Mm. Mm. But I have
Pradeep
met
sir,
some people who said that they made a mistake in reading Krishnamurti, that after reading Krishnamurti, they felt more and more restless. They could not find the solution of their problem. And sometimes they became very violent also. So I had met some people who said that Krishnamurti is dangerous. And when Krishnamurti was giving a talk, in New York or somewhere, one lady got up from the audience, and she said, "Don't listen to this man. He is very dangerous." And other people tried to prevent this lady, and then that lady went away, and after that everybody was very quiet, and Krishnamurti said that what that lady said is true. That means the teachings can be very dangerous if a person really not clear. He can more conflict. A person may like to become like Krishnamurti and feels that he's not getting free from thinking. So that can create more conflict. So it is a dangerous teaching, I would say. If you don't
Harshad,
understand very quickly and you try to understand, then I think you are lost. Either you see
Harshad,
it very quickly without thinking, or you will get lost. That is the possibility exists in Krishnamurti's teachings. Whereas devotion is a safe path. There may be illusion, but the person feels happy, and some people can be very quiet for many hours doing that ritual or whatever. I think Pradeep ji wants to speak.
Harshad sir,
Thank you.
uh, basically Krishnamurti wants to free all the people from the self, and that may be dangerous for the people involved in the worldly business or attachments with other activities.
Yes. Yes.
So we have to take into consideration all these factors also.
Mm.
If one is, it may appear dangerous for him.
Yeah. Yes.
If he is not prepared. If he is not prepared
Right.
for that particular thing, then it may be appearing very dangerous for the particular person. Pradeep sir,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Pradeep sir.
Am I audible? Am I audible?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Thank you. Very good
Yes, you are
evening,
audible.
friends. A very interesting topic, because if we are trying to understand life, I'll start with, because a number of things I have jotted down while listening to speakers. If we are trying to understand life through Krishnamurti, you are trapped. You are trapped, sir, right in the beginning, and we say freedom is in the beginning. And if you start beginning like this, imagine. And when we ask this question, similarly, what views JK has about surrender? What does it mean? To me, it means this word is already dear to me in some way. I am close to this world. I want authenticity. I want someone to verify it. And if JK does it, wonderful, because JK said the same thing and something like that. So invariably, our questions are based on our likings and dislikings, our paths, our ways, our beliefs. So this is what I feel. But the fact is, I have written from a very basic thing. Life survives in psychological world only, because otherwise also, scientifically also, consciousness comes first, material comes later, matter. As awareness is first, seeing is first. So awareness to content of consciousness. You see, life is psychosomatic. Soma comes later on. You see, so perception is action. Seeing comes first. The fact is that we are all highly conditioned right from our birth. Do we agree to this? Do we see it honestly in us that we are conditioned with beliefs, fears, desires, likes, dislikes, in a continuous flow which is on even now, the so-called present conditioning. Some some are registered and become memory, and which later on color our perceptions. Another fact, another important point here is regarding devotion. So devotion, if you see a number of bhakti yoga or whatever it is, a number of devotees, so you will find some categories you can find out. Some are out of helplessness, absolute no support from nowhere. So they, matlab, for something, some fatherly figure, they look for, known or unknown, doesn't matter, guna or nirguna, but they look for it. And that creates devotion. Or as an act of supplication, fulfillment of our desires. Who can fulfill our desires? And the history, if you see in this history, he imaginary gods, a number of images already are there. He has given that to him, he has given that to him, she has given that to him, a number of these things, you see. So that is another way of what we call, what this is called in devotion only. Some have come out of they were tortured either in family, like Tukaram, a number of others you will find, or society. Society rejected them, threw them out of caste, all sorts of things. So that is another thing, where to go. Vituba, we can go Vituba. We can go to something. Again, an image, you see. So only few are there, they could see reality without entangling themselves in images, you see. So images is initially, if you see our Hindu system, not Hindu or Indian ethos, you see images were what? We were devoted to what? In Rig Veda, you will find that we were devoted to nature. So everything was pious. You see, although the inside is that they were giving something, they were giving life to us in they could see the importance of nature, river, trees, sun, moon, rain, ocean. All these things were, they could see it. You see, so these things were available right now in matter and form, and the transience of these things. So they could see it, they could see this, and that's why they were, in a way, they were worshipped like God, which we have forgotten now, unfortunately. Unfortunate it is that now we are not bothered about these things. You see, if you have to, in our so-called technical industrial world, there is, you see, that deforestation, continuous cutting of trees, pollution of industrial pollution, everything has become polluted, right from air to water, everything. And we know our holy Jamuna, where Krishna was associated, or some other Indrayani or Kaveri or that thing, Godavari, all were associated with some sort of divinity. You see, so this is what we are, this is a fact. We should start with the facts, not what Krishnamurti said about what do you think? Why he had to say that don't follow me at all. I don't want followers. I want only that you see what you see and what you do and how do you listen, whether do you listen or can you listen with this much of conditioning in the background. Can you listen? This simple question, if we ask to ourselves, you will find that, excuse me, we love certain conditions which are impediment to these looking things as they are or listening to things as they are, and but we have cultivated them in us. You see, we like them. We like those conditions, or we allow them to be there. What is there for me to say? You see, what is there if I go and do this namaskar to him? If suppose he is there, powerful, I will. Why should I miss that opportunity? So likewise, so many things are there. So we are highly conditioned, and conditioning psychology comes first to me. I am always putting that we are psychological beings. Our suffering relates to psychology. There is no doubt about it. Scientifically, any way you see that uh, this is a fact. So psychology directs us, and psychology initially is survival and security for life as such, life in general. So this is the point from their psychology enters fears, desires, fulfillment, everything is related to your so called survival and security. So, psychology is basic in our living even today. In relationships, if you see what role it is purely psychological only. Your hurts, your likings, your so called love, your attachments, everything is psychology. And this is a major problem in the modern world. This generation at the age of 40 going to psychiatrists, psychologists, number of hours, working hours going from 12 to 17, 15, because they are giving you lakhs of rupees, which you don't know what to do with. So we are now a different type of slave. This is what I feel. I have not read it somewhere. This is I have seen around me, in families, in everywhere. So this we have to be very clear. Uh, we have to understand life, including myself fully in every moment, myself fully in every moment. Why I am thinking like this? What effect it has on relationships, my relationship in surroundings, outside, with people, and what role it has with the compassion and collective and everything and the whole. So I have to see myself moment to moment. We come back to that. Am I taking too much time, Modakji?
No, please continue
Oh,
if
no,
you want
no,
to.
almost over. It's almost over. I have to say certain things. So I said it because I have to understand myself purely like a naked person, naked and honest and sincere. If I want to, whether I want to see reality as such, whether I want it or I am running from it. So we have to, everyone, each one of us has to be very clear about this thing. And the solution lies in the problem. These simple things, if you see, and how we treat in our routine, this is my experience. in my routine things when I go to this thing, cleaning my this thing, whether resistance is there, in any work if I do, if there whether there is resistance, whether there is haste, it should be done immediately. Somebody should do it or something like that. And the same work, if when you do it with love and affection, how easy it becomes, how beautiful it becomes, how enjoyable it becomes. So that is what I have to say, friends. Sorry, I have taken so much time. Thank you, but I am little light now. Thank you. Thank you.
Dinesh ji,
Are you able to hear my voice?
Yes.
Yes.
Is it
Yes, sir.
clear? Today's topic is Krishnamurti psychology and devotion. I'm sorry because I was out, so I could not listen what Harshad sir has said. And other first speaker has said. Anyway, I will talk about my views. In my views, JK's, since we have taken name of Krishnamurti in this topic, in my views, JK's whole teachings move around psychology, means conditioning and thought. In a way, mind is considered as software and brain as hardware. Since in most of the cases, the effect is because of both clubbed together, the words are used interchangeably by JK. JK had only given pointers and not done any spoon feeding or given any crutches. It seems that his main aim was to awaken people and let them start thinking and live in a particular way. To understand the totality of thought world and free of it. This is what his intention was. That's what I feel. To have silent mind and go beyond the limitations of mind to touch or reach a dimension which is beyond mind. Okay. As far as now devotion is concerned, JK said devotion is a thought time process and it will not lead to transformation. It may reform to some extent. He has also confirmed. It may reform to some extent. He has asked many questions to the groups about devotion, to which they cannot answer. He has used very strong words against devotion afterwards. My thinking is, basic his intention was, the group should find the answers to these questions and then think about it and then go ahead with that. As per JK, devotion is superficial conscious mind process, a projection of self which gives pleasure. This is to some extent fulfill the inner fear. According to him, being miserable in one's life, having no vital relationship with other human beings, uh, one tries to project oneself into something, into the unknown, and worship the unknown. Instead, he stress on self-knowing. Now, here is the clutch. Okay, whatever he said, if we accept, then when he says that self-knowing is important, I think one of the speaker has said about that, and I think Pradeep ji also touched and about the self-knowing, that without self-knowing you cannot go ahead. Now see deeply what is self-knowing. As per JK's process, you will understand yourself. Okay, that I am having I'm greedy, I'm having anger, I'm having fear and all that. But how you will be free from it? For that, a fresh energy is required to clean this. Now, from where you get this fresh energy and passion? He has also used the word passion to get free from it. Is it so easy? And then he said that instantaneously it will go. Has anybody tried whether it instantaneously go in himself? As far as my experience is concerned, the superficial things, the superficial hurts and superficial problems go immediately. But for the deeper issues, one has to give the time. It is not an instantaneous process. And indirectly somewhere he has also mentioned to such persons that you write what are your problems and all that. You write about yourself on a book and this thing. In the students also he said, because in case of students, there all the energy is going out. They have to understand the world first. They are attracted towards the world. So there also he said that first be free from this, and then you can understand what I am saying and all that. So self-knowing, okay, now I understood myself fully. Now when I have understood myself, then also a problem comes that the technological world, he said, is different. And psychologically, he said it is different. In technological world, if we separate, then what remains? Then the emotions and feelings remains. And in every marg you say, or in every tradition you say, the main problem is feelings and emotions. Right? If you go to any marg, whether yoga, whether you go to bhakti, whether you go to this Gyan marg, the feelings and emotions are the main problems which you have to be free from. And then if you are able to free from that, then you are able to touch that dimension. That's what, as per JK, that is the only way. But now, as per my views, this is one aspect of the things. Whatever JK said is as per his individuality. Many others, including Raman Maharshi, Arvind, Ramakrishna, have praised bhakti. That is to say, devotion. One thing we have to understand, that to understand JK is very difficult, which I think Harshad sir has also said earlier, is very difficult for common man. The stress of JK is on negation, whereas in bhakti, consideration is on everything is made by God. Everything is made by God. Nothing is, we cannot say that this is not made by God. Sarva khalvid Brahma. Whatever is made, that is, and another is in Ishavasya Upanishad also, there is a shlok about this. Since ultimately one has to be in touch or in contact with intelligence, energy, Dio, which is substratum of everything. So, bhakti or devotion is also very effective for this purpose. Narad Bhakti Sutra is one of the main scripture or treatise on devotion. Gita also describes Navda Bhakti or Bhakti as Shravan, Kirtan, Smaran, Archan, Vandan, and Path 7. Dasya, Sakhya, and Atmanivedan means surrender. Bhakti is also a big subject, so I am not touching that right now. This is for emotional and sentimental common people, whereas JK is for people with very high intellect. These are my views. If we talk of yoga, Then in Patanjali Yoga Sutra also mentioned Ishwar Pranidhanam Pranidhanam Va means Tasya Vachak is Pranav. Means Ishwar in Hindi they say that ईश्वर को प्रणिधान में रखने से अंदर मानने से और प्रणव का जाप करने से बस उसका वाचक जो है वो प्रणव है मीन्स ओम. Now what happens in jap? People criticize jap like anything. That unless you are having the one speaker was saying that unless you understand yourself or self-knowing, you cannot go anywhere. Now what happens in jap? When you repeat a mantra, it goes back to its origin. If a particular number repetition is achieved, it goes back from Vakri. Vakri means whatever I am speaking, that is Vakri. To Upanshu. Upanshu means when the thought is coming from here, means my throat. To Pashyanti. Pashyanti means the words are, I can see the words and image. Here image also comes. To Para. Para means then it automatically the Shabda or words leaves aside its boundaries and it gives the energy behind it. It releases the energy behind it. So, and you also get in touch with the intelligence. In Jap, Namasmaran is done. Means name and its image, both are considered. It is said that there is no difference between Nami and name. Means, suppose I take the name of Mr. Modak, then only out of all the group, only Mr. Modak will see to me. Similarly, when I take a name of say Sri Krishna or say Ram, only Ram will get in contact with me and whatever the projection we have made, same will come. But afterward, as I said, a particular after number is completed, then it will reveal its energy and intelligence. Means they say that Ram Sarupa Vichar and the Nam Sarupa Vichar and whatever the energy behind it. Similarly, in Gita, there are deeds of Sri Krishna. Means whatever has been done by the Sri Krishna. Whereas in Bhagavad, there is a character as well as the Swarup of Sri Krishna is said. Means the name and whose name is spoken. It is said that there is no difference between Nami and name. Means the name and whose name is spoken. If you say X, then only X will see you or move towards you to ask what is the matter. So we have to understand, even after repetition, here also another speaker was saying that there is a psychology and there are so many things and how we will get free of it and all that. So here automatically you are using only two words, say Ram. Automatically you are free of all the psychology in a way. So this is the thing. Now Pradeep Verma ji is saying about the Vithoba. You have to see that only 3 or 4 saints are men who have reached the level of the ultimate. Whereas all others, as he said, were interested in getting the worldly things. They are mainly interested in freeing themselves from the worldly problems. So it is very clear that they were taking the name of Vitthal for the worldly thing. So this is the thing. And if something comes later on, we will see. Thank you very much for listening. Modak sir, please free Mr. Prasad sir. Unmuting. Sir, you are muted.
Sir, Ravi Saab is waiting.
Prasad sir,
Sir, Ravi Saab is waiting before me.
Okay. Ravi can speak. Yeah.
No, sir. Prasad, sir, I would love to listen to you. Then after I'll say the timing here. Thank you.
Okay, sir.
Mm.
This topic is psychology and devotion. I don't think there is anything connecting link between these two topics. They are separate, in my view. Psychology. It is true that Krishnaji's articles, etc., they look like the creation of a psychologist, because he has such a deep knowledge of the human mind. But there is a big difference between the approach of a psychologist and the approach of Krishnaji. A psychologist is not somebody who is free on his own, by himself. That is what Harshad has also pointed out. He is not free. The psychologist is not free. But he is trying to make his patient free. And basically, for a psychologist, thought is very important. He wants to study your thoughts from the past. But Krishnaji doesn't waste much time on studying your thoughts. For him, thought is just a result of memory, a result of the past. It has no, functionally, it is different, but psychologically, it has no value. It is just a result of the past. The psychologist, he keeps on working with your thoughts. And another thing is, the psychologist is trying to make you fit into the society. I think Harshaji has pointed out this also. Whereas Krishnaji is not trying to make you fit into the society. He is trying to make you understand your real self. How greedy you are, how envious you are, how jealous you are, how ambitious you are, how self-centered you are, all these things. That is self-knowledge. Self-knowledge is not an accumulative process, but it is a perception from moment to moment of your reality. And then he doesn't allow you to escape from what is. He wants you to stay with what is, not allow yourself to be deluded by what should be. So, but then he has a very deep knowledge of the human mind. And it is because of the deep knowledge, he is able to understand the identity between the observer and the observed. I don't think any psychologist has pointed out that. So, all these things make him unique. His approach is like that of superficially it is like that of a psychologist. and it is entirely different. Then this devotion. Devotion is also a kind of what should be. It is a kind of escape into a different world, what should be. Actually, devotion itself can be a kind of a projection of self. You are imagining something and then you are surrendering to it. And then you surrender to one thing, I surrender to a different thing. A Christian surrenders to something else. So you are not really free. You do not have that unity of perception, that unified feeling. It may be slogans, but one thing, we are not here to judge who has achieved enlightenment or who has achieved deliverance, all those things. Instead of, there is no end to your quoting scriptures. You quote one type of scripture, I quote a different scripture. A Christian quotes another scripture. The mind, human mind, is not really free enough to see the vacuity, the illusion of all these things. And Harshaji has said, Krishnaji can be dangerous. Yes, it can be dangerous. If you are ambitious, even working very hard in business can be dangerous. When you have no sense of proportion, when I am ambitious to be like Krishnaji, to achieve what he achieved, then he can be dangerous. What I have to do is to see my own life. Am I enjoying my life or not? Am I a little less envious than I was before? Am I little more tolerant of other religions than before? So, you have to grow to your height. You cannot be a 6-footer. So, if you have ambition of any type, even in the spiritual field, if you want to achieve something very big, if I want to become like Modi ji, if I keep on working, I will become mad. I will grow mad. So, good sense is important. And for me, the value of Krishnaji is that he has taken into consideration all these facts of life, not escaping into Himalayas or a hermitage. He lives in Bombay, in the narrow apartments of Bombay, and he says, you have no space, physical space. And that is so true. So, he is not avoiding anything. He is applying himself to the nuclear bomb, the computer, the narrow apartments of Bombay, all these things, the pollution, the killing of baby seals, all these things, he is applying himself. I don't find this type of application in anybody else. They may sing songs about Krishna, Lord Krishna, all that. But that is not what we are here for. We have to understand life. Life means a society. Life means war. all these things without rejecting anything. And that is what Krishnaji gives us. Thank you, sir. Kamlesh ji, I have stopped.
Yes, sir. Dinesh ji.
He is not
Please be
there.
brief.
Ravi is not there. Okay.
Try to ask him.
Prasad sir, can we see that
Hello.
certainly we are
Dinesh ji.
influenced so much
Hello.
Dinesh ji.
by
Hello.
Ravi Kaushal.
Ravi wants to
Yes, sir.
talk.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Am I audible, sir?
Yeah,
Yes,
yes.
You are audible.
Okay. So I appreciate, I like what Prasad sir has said, but later on he's like, devotionally talking about K, little jargon kind of thing. What he's done on computer and what it's a, it's a kind of image. So it's there. It seems to me like that. It's there or not, I don't know. So one thing is that, and another, Pradeep sir is talking what when I talked about, what K has said on this thing, and he's talking that I'm putting him as an authority and kind of thing. Then there is no perception and all that. But I'm saying, sir, this is a Krishnamurti platform. That's why I'm saying that what he has said on devotion or surrender, and he's not talking the surrender in the meaning in terms of what about the devotionally worshipping any image or carrying any image or making one authority. It's not talking about the surrendering in that manner, but he's talking that when there is a complete cessation of your thought, that's what he means by surrender. That's what he means by surrender. Complete cessation of the movement of the thought, of the psychological thought. So I would like to, in terms of this devotion kind of thing, in contrast to that, I would like to have these words on the platform. What K said on that? Nothing else. There is no K. So this is one thing, and Harshad sir is saying about this. There is a path of what K's path, and Dinesh Waghmare has also told about, talked about this another many kind of paths, devotional path, Narad Bhakti Sutra, and all that. I'm saying ki, whenever anybody use that word path or marg, it's not my cup of tea then. It's not, it's always seems to me that the mind is still in movement. The thought is in continuity. That is one thing which I can't go with that. Though though I've gone through all that what you are talking, all the Bhakti Sutras and all, I have done all that. But I'm not talking about what I've done or not done. But I'm saying there is a saying of K as a surrender, and there is a saying of devotional thing, uh, and the psychology. What psychology is? He's talked about this self knowledge. Is more important. It's the thing which can bring a fundamental change in one, and perception and what is and all that is there. But I'm saying that still, I think people are still digging and more digging and more digging and more seeing himself and more seeing himself, more watching himself is there, still there. Why? This is one thing. It's still, though it's the perceiving is not in terms of psychology. When you're in continuation with the what, why there is a continuation of the seeing in the self, where then there is a self, then why there is need for that. After you have learned so much, after you have seen so much, after you have free so much, why there is still so much continuity in seeing what is and all that. This is one thing I'm saying. And the psychology Psychology, I think we have discussed much. It's more about perception and all that. So thank you, sir. Thanks a lot.
Dinesh ji.
Okay, can I talk now?
Yes,
Because
sir.
time is very less.
Please be brief.
Yeah. Prasad sir was talking about freedom, and many people have talk more about freedom. And first of all, I would like to say, Prasad sir, can we see that in a subtle way we are doing bhakti of J. Krishnamurti, and even we are using his words and your this thing, right? Another thing, what I would like to say, this freedom, about freedom. For a bhakta, freedom is byproduct. Freedom, bhakta never goes for the this freedom first. He goes for the anand. Tukaram says, ananda che dohi ananda taranga. Means there is an emptiness of anand in which there are vibrations of ananda. So they go for the ananda. And in that, so-called is God or so-called is experience, in that vibration, he gets free. Another thing, this Brahma Sutra also said, Raso Vesaha, means some people, they go for the ras. Drishti Maduram, Srishti Maduram, Maduradipate Akhilam Maduram. So there are so many people, as per their individuality, as per their inclinations, they go for that. And there is so many marks and so many things. Even Arvind has described, and Arvind has clubbed also all the marks. So one has to see what suits him. Despite of understanding of J. Krishnamurti, one has to see whether I am doing bhakti of J. Krishnamurti, whether I am repeating his words or what. And have we understood what he means to say by I am not authority and I am not this? One has to understand his himself and self-knowing and all that. So all these things we have to see. Then only we can, if we are so sincere, if we are so honest, if we are so passionate, then only we can, I think we can have that touch of that dimension, which is beyond. Thank you very much, sir.
Dinesh ji,
Yes, sir.
we don't have to repeat anybody's words, as JK has said. Don't follow anybody's authority, but try to first learn the logic JK has said, and then see if that applies to your life or if your mind is being quiet.
You are 100% correct.
So
Whether by using JK's logics and all that, can you make your mind silent? And can you go for the becoming? Because life also demands becoming, sir. You cannot, or if at all some persons are going for to become monk, then it's okay. Otherwise, life requires becoming. Otherwise, there will be no development altogether.
basically, we have to understand that people who have become mature and you have seen the life in a wide view, then they can go for the totality of self-knowing and all that. For persons who are young,
I have, sir, if you have listened, I already said, what is the use of self-knowing? Tell me. If I have understood, I have gone for the self-knowing. Can I get rid of my these voices and all that? For that, fresh energy is required.
one
Is it
has
available
to
to me?
one has to understand from where is getting the fresh energy.
Yeah.
Or freedom.
Or freedom.
So it is definitely one has to understand is that in the self-knowing only. What is working for him.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, time has come. So let us, Harshad sir, conclude something.
Yes, so what you said is true. One has to find out what is it that is really helping. You are the doer and you are the judge. You can't depend on another person. So if you feel like doing bhakti and that makes you happy, you go for bhakti. If you like Krishnamurti's approach, and that is helping you, that is good for you. So there is nothing that everybody has to follow one person or one way. Krishnamurti's way is on knowledge, uh, knowledge side, freedom from knowledge. Bhakti is more into, as Dinesh ji said, it is to be get rid of the sense of me. That is what surrender means in bhakti. That you give everything to what you feel God takes your burden. Actually, the whole thing is comes from within only. Or whether it is Krishnamurti's approach or a devotional approach, everything is really coming from within you. And so you have to find out what is good for you. Okay, I finished. Yeah.
Thanks everybody for
Thank you.
participation.
Thank you.
Thank you.